today's I'm trying to discuss or like share my thoughts on the role of higher education institutes to promote deep tech startups. Okay, this is the background you can see. Actually, that is our upcoming technology incubation park. This is like a 1,50,000 SFTs we are planning to build. Means already construction started. Uh, we are expecting by this year end, this will be ready. Okay, but still we are operating from our other transit facilities. So So if you look at it, the focus of higher educational institutes over the time after independence, you see clearly, uh, up to 1990, before liberalization, okay, the most of our concentration was in teaching. So any higher education institute is like a focus was teaching. So when we try to select any higher education institute, the students always look at it, the teacher profiles and academic programs, and what type of teaching modes, how best I can learn from that institute was a major focus. Okay, but over the period, academic institutes, especially the higher education institutes, moved from the teaching mode to the research and publication mode. Many of organizations across the country is focused on the publications and research. So one of the indicator of the performance of the institute is the publications, not only teaching. So now many institutes taken teaching as a granted. Okay, so there is no extra wow is added as part of our performance indicators. When you try to talk about any higher education institutes, key performance indicator, teaching is granted. Now publications is the one most of the times we are promoting. From the students point of view, many people are organizations are promoting the number related to the placements. So everybody is try to like a project their placement opportunities from their organizations and attract the students based on the placement opportunities. So the two aspects, like research and publications and placements was taken the key performance indicator as compared to the previous generation institute focus. Then now a new trend, completely is a new trend. Almost all institutes are trying to shift their gears towards the bringing industry and academia collaborations. So now institutes not only looking at the creating the employees, employers also to be created from our ecosystem. So that is the reason we want to bring industry and academia should work together to solve societal problems. And the government has given many schemes to promote this industry and academia collaborations. Some of the schemes we were leveraged as part of our ecosystem building. So I will try to share those experiences. But if you see the gamut of the focus of HEI over the time, we are moving from teaching to the publication now towards the industry and academia collaborations. So how we'll try to bring industry and academia collaborations is the real challenge for any HE organization management. Then next one is in that process. So it's like a more or less MHRD is asking everybody to put the innovation cells, and as well as the AICT is expecting you to introduce entrepreneurship course as part of your curriculum, and many schemes are available to promote the startups, and it's becoming like a integrated entrepreneurship is becoming the as a part of our education system. And not only that, doing the projects with industry is also now one of the indicators. So many directions the people are trying to bring industry and academia together, and the different collaborative research centers is also part of the industry and academia interactions. So today I will try to focus on these startups, how entrepreneurship ecosystem is considered as part of the industry and academia collaborations. Just before going further, first we'll try to understand what is the startups, like what type of startups are there, because startup definition is government is given clearly. So that definition may be a little bit different what real practice or terminology is used, but I'm not going to the nitty-gritty of what is startup, what is not startup, those definitions. But what is the layman understanding regarding the deep tech startups? Okay, I'm talking about deep tech startups. So you see that the left side, okay, it's like a deep tech startups. The definition we'll try to provide is a commercialization of scientific innovations or engineering innovations, you want to do it as part of the your industry academia interactions as a startup policy, we call them the deep tech startups. Then immediately questions, technology is there everywhere, how it is really differentiated? Yes, a majority of the tech-based startups will focus on the technology as one of the important criteria, but their prime motivation is not the converting the innovations or scientific inventions into the product. Their major invention is business innovation. So they want to try to use technology as a tool to come up with a business innovation. Okay, and also any app based, if you look at it, so they are using different type of technologies to identify the customer feedback and also to serve the customers and converting the offline mode of operation to the online mode operations. They all use the technology, but we may not define them as a deep tech startups. Generally, the deep tech startups is a product based startups, but there's a vague definition, but it can vary from the people. But what I am looking at is the deep tech is converting your technology innovations or engineering innovations or scientific inventions into the commercialization will come under the deep tech startups. Okay, actually the deep tech startup path is a little bit a long time taking process, and also it's like a analogy is, if you try to climb the steps, the how much of energy you required is like a versus you try to take the escalator, okay, and reach the destination. If you try to compare these two, when you try to climb the steps is a time taking process, lot of energy is required, you need to be well balanced, okay, you need to assess what is the next step, okay, so this type of feedback is required. So this many troubles will be there for the deep tech startups. But if you come to the escalators, a well planned, somebody is moving and there is a well established path, you can't deviate, so everything is well planned and you can reach your destination very quickly with a minimal effort. So that is a major differentiator between the deep tech startup achievement in the goals and as well as the achievement the similar goals by using other technology based startup. Okay, so with this thing, yes, there is extra support required from the deep tech startups. So that extra support is given by higher educational institutions. So that we are trying to analyze. So you look at it, this cartoon, the steps is prepared by our startup. So he is willing to create the steps. So that is job. But what is our job is, when in nutshell, is providing railing to the steps. So we are not the creating of the steps. So that is not our responsibility. Higher education institutes are responsible to provide proper railing to the staircases to protect the startup and provide the support along the journey, right? So, but across the India, there are so many models are available. Many higher education institutes are working in their own model. So same way, every staircase has their own rail system. Like the beautification or a simple rails will be there, or like a very like a complex, sophisticated, beautified railing will be provided to the staircase. It's completely model is varying from one higher education institution to other higher education institution. But the major aim is providing the proper railing to our deep tech startups. Okay, this is the message. Actually, anybody asked what is my role is, my role is just supporting and beautify their goals achievement. And they are, when they are walking on the steps, they should feel or inspire from our supporting system. Okay, and they should feel confident when you're taking this very complex path. They should feel confident that yes, my institute will provide proper support throughout my journey. So as a HEI or as an institute, policy should give this confidence to our deep tech startups. Okay, this is the message. We'll say, okay, how to build this supporting railing system to our steps is a part of our task of HEI faculty in charges. Right. Then, if you come to the startups, it doesn't matter only the deep tech. Any startup, they are expecting three things from us: the time. Okay, what is the right time to start the startup? At what time I need to launch the product? When you need to release it? So the timing is very important. So how much time I need to work? So the time is one of the important parameter for any startup requirement point of view. But many times people will take it as a granted, but it's not true. Okay, So right time entry and right time exit is very, very important for startup. Okay. The next is the money. Okay. Next is the money. Then third one is the resources. Okay. Just if you observe here, I put the cartoon rupee symbol is a larger in size with respect to the other two symbols. The reason is everybody thinks that money is very, if I have money, I can create a deep tech startup. It's not true. Okay. There are so many rich people are there, but they are not deep tech startup founders, right? The deep tech startups, not only money, you required a good resources to build a product. You required a good resources to build a product. So as an academic institute, we need to facilitate, to provide resources as part of deep tech startup promotion. Okay, whatever facilities, I will try to explain it. But when you come to the money, so then many times the startups will come up and said, sir, we presented many ideas, but it's not successful. Maybe my pitch is not good and all the things. But if you are a deep tech startup, your concept will convey your fund requirement. Okay, not your pitch. So especially for deep tech startups, your proof of concept, your product, which really revolutionized the society, that product or that concept will attract the funds. Actually in India right now, we are in a good situation because there are so many schemes to promote deep tech startups, and getting funds, seed funds, is not as trouble as a couple of years back. So very good situation at this moment. Now we have like a great environment to promote product based companies at this junction. But the major challenge is getting clearances, compliance requirements, legislation, meeting the certifications. So they are actually the first job for of our HEIs is how to smoothen the process, how to provide support to get all the certifications for our startup products. That need to come from our HEIs. Okay, that is one of the important, especially the medical devices. So the developing a device is one part, getting clearances and release to the market is another part. So I can say that developing product is only 25%, but coming to the market, especially the medical devices, is a 75%. So there actually the HEI should play a key role to promote your startup products into the market. Okay, so money is yes for deep tech startups. At early stage you feel difficult, but once you have a proof of concept or minimum viable product, getting money from the different funding agencies is not as difficult as early stages. So with this startup requirements, so as a HEI, I'm very clear, I need to provide resources. I need to provide resources. So the focus of HEI is on resources. Money will be the, just we are facilitated to provide the money. We are not the money disbursement companies. Okay, HEIs is not the money disbursement company. So we are a resource arrangement or facilitators. Okay, with this, so the next one is, what is the important as a resource I can provide from an academic institute is the IP, intellectual property. I need to do it. Okay, and technology transfer. So many faculties working on their research, and they come up with a good number of papers, good testing labs, and good resources. Okay, and they trained well manpowers. Everything that is part of the academic institute is done. But what the academic institute should have a proper policy. Okay, how to transfer institute intellectual property rights to the startups. Okay, or because we are promoting the deep tech, so obviously the technology support should be required. And when you try to develop a product, you require not only idea, you need multidisciplinary support. Means a idea might be IoT based devices, but the package, product testing, and the manufacturing, okay, everything is required other disciplines. So an academic institute, generally we have wide spectrum of the departments and wide spectrum of the expertise available with institutes, and resources also available with the institute. So now these startups should leverage the multidisciplinary expertise with the institute to promote their product. So that is the reason the institute should have a smooth process or policy how to engage the academic institute with the startup activities. Means the academic research and the startup activities should be done. For that you require proper IP and technology policies, technology transfer policies. And not only that, and another important aspect is especially when you are going to the product launching. So you need to make it uniqueness for your product. So the uniqueness will come from the owning your own IP. Okay, here IP doesn't mean that only patents. It will be like a copyright, trade secrets, okay, your own publications, anything, trademarks, all these come under that category. So you should have your own thing. So institute should help them in the early stage of their idea by doing the proper prior art search for their idea and help them to protect them by patenting their idea. So obviously what happened is I feel the deep tech startups will get their more enhancement, okay, through IP and technology transfers. And correspondingly tools, team, support, everything should be given by HEI to promote deep tech startups to protect their ideas and protect their intellectual property. Okay, with this, and also this is one side of the promoting startups. Other side, institutes should promote their own innovation. So whatever the lab level innovation is happened, need to convert to the commercialization. When you're doing the commercialization, you need to come up with the product development and as well as the revenue generation model for your own institute. Every institute should generate their own money. So for that, revenue generation should happen through this mechanism. Okay, through the technology transfer or IP licensing. So this is the one of the important aspect. So I strongly believe every institute have their own IP policy and IP team to help the startups and promote their academic research into the commercial technologies. Okay. With this, now next, we'll try to come back to the startup success rate. So we are talking about like now is across the country there are so many startups and it's like it's a very encouraging environment at this moment. People are taking startup as one of the career path. Okay, but if you go back and check the stats, and it really surprises us. Okay, the money and amount we try to invest it and the amount of employment you create it through the startups, and all these are good signs. But the other side is the success. Then there is or like the people can discuss that what is the success you mean. So that is a definition will vary from the organization to organization, scheme to scheme. But if you try to look at it, the revenue generation, if you make it as a success, or profits as a success, okay, or survival, sustainability of your company as a success, generally the success rate is very shocking at this moment. It is less than single digit, means 3 to 5%. Okay, so now is a great challenge for higher education institutes. Okay, many people are willing to take the challenge given by the society that solve a particular problem and make it as a commercial product, but in the process their success rate is very low. Obviously people will take, like people are taking risk, and how to higher education institutes will support these type of risk taking entrepreneurs. Okay, so there is no unique answer, but some of the learnings we have it will try to share with the team, like with other people. The first question is, any person who is taking the startup path, obviously he is committed his time to realize his idea. So obviously what will happen is he's not taking up any employment with others. So in that process, the people who have taken employment, they are taking a smooth sailing, but this guy is going in a rough path at that thing, and actually you'll get a lot of social pressure from the parents, from the friends, from the society. Like there is so much pressure on the student or like the entrepreneur, especially they're just graduating from the school. So to address that, one way of we are doing is deferred placements. So you give an assurance to your entrepreneur, the person who is pursuing the idea. Tell him that you try for 2 years in our incubator. You take a decision, say that yes, I'm able to get it what I want. If not, you close your operations and come back to our campus placement. So we'll try to facilitate to get his job after 2 years. At least he can convince many people saying that I'm trying to pursue my passion. Maybe if I fail, and at least my higher education institute is giving me confidence to take up other opportunities later. So that way you can address the social pressure. That's the first part. The second part, that many people I realize that like they will come up with a very nice minimum viable product and they try to go to commercial, beta version is done, but after some time they realize it's not going in the right direction. Okay, they want to close operations. Okay, at that time, what is the respectable exit? because the respectable exit is he's not making any money. So obviously that's not a respectable exit. So what is the respectable exit that IGA can provide is somehow, because at this moment we are not done, but we are planning to do it in the future. But I'm requesting anybody can take the step in this direction, saying that you integrate your academic program, okay, with the with a startup startup involvement with their idea. So what I mean is, for example, somebody worked on a product and he came up with a minimum viable product. You try to give a degree, said that okay, fine, after BTech he worked for 18 months and he came up with a product but didn't fly a success as he expected. He want to close his operations, but from your academic institute you integrate it with some degree, saying that masters or PG diploma in entrepreneurship or masters in entrepreneurship, some degree you try to give. So at least what will happen is he has a certificate saying that yes, I completely tried my path and pursued my path, but I got an official exit saying that yes, it was recognized by my academic institute. That's the one part. Second part, there are successful stories also there. Some people who have started with a like a idea stage to the product stage, and they have their own IP, because the deep tech always owns IP. So they have the IP is there, and they came up with a commercial product and released to the market, and they got a minimum revenue. He's deserved for a doctorate. Yes, he's deserved because he has his own patents. He came up with a new idea. He's like he proved it. So he might be deserved for PhD. But generally, right now the PhD means number of publications, and he should have a thesis and all the things. But why can't we consider a successful product as a thesis? So why? How can we integrate a Doctor of Philosophy degree with a successful product launching? Okay, this type of schemes can be worked out. So this gives a respectable exit to the many kids, and also you can retain highly talented people going for higher education as a mandate. Instead of that, you can take it entrepreneurship and academia together. So that is one of the model we can think about. This is just I'm giving glimpses, but yes, the intellectual community in a higher education institute can think bigger than this and come up with the better models. Okay. Yes, we have to give an assurance for all our startups, especially the deep tech startups, because their career path is longer path than the normal technology based startups. So we'll our service based startups will tell them your institute is your risk taking institute. So we are supporting all risk takers. So that is the assurance is given from our policies. So with this, the next one is this especially suggestion to the teachers and as well as the entrepreneurs. As part of our teaching, we always tell make any complex idea into the simple. So our aim is to make students to understand. Okay, our aim is to make students to understand very complex idea into simple. So that is the way we'll always teach. But when you try to release a commercial product, especially deep tech product, you think reverse. Any simple idea or any simple component, don't release into the market. This is my complete personal view, but there may be different arguments. You never release your product in a simple way, because when you try to release a product in a simple way, copying that product in a market is very easy. You intentionally complex the process. Okay, you make it the process complex. So when somebody opens the your product, or you want to do reverse engineering, okay, you should not understand what's going on. Okay, so when you try to develop, when you try to learning should be from complex to simple. But when you come to the product, you make it simple product into a complex product. Okay, this is the fundamental difference. You try to use it with respect to learning process to the implementation process. Okay, so this is the one suggestion for the entrepreneur, especially deep tech and startups. So please make your product not look like a very simple and easy to copy. You make so complex, nobody can copy it. Okay, so that is the model you try to think about it. Then this is another important point for the deep tech startups. It's okay, many people may not like it, but across the different departments or different institutes and different people, everybody wants a brownie point from the system. Everybody wants a brownie point. So the brownie point most of the time in the statistics number saying that we raised from this number to this number, we have this many everybody wants to show the statistics in the brownie points. The brownie points will come, right? So the brownie points will give you the funds. The brownie points will give you the your visibility. So those brownie points will come, okay, not from your hard work, right? For example, you are just I'm giving an analogy. You might have a very good material to prepare balloon, right? You prepared the balloon, but you don't have a mechanism to fill the air inside the balloon, right? Inside the balloon, okay, that is like is not never be recognized your efforts. Whatever the material you developed as part of the thing, it will not blast and all the things. So you required a person who has a capability to fill the air inside your balloon. Okay, so your idea will be goes into the sky, or it will gives a rosy picture or colors to the sky only if we require a proper air filling person. So that air filling person for a product is the sales and marketing. Okay, the sales and marketing, many times as engineer, even I'm thinking myself, many before joining and taking up this role, I always feel technology is great. Yes, technology is great, but if we require somebody who can sell that technology in a commercial market, okay, then it will not be great. So obviously you don't underestimate sales and marketing capability of the people. So because you need to tie up as a technology, generally the technology people, we may not good at the sales and marketing. This I'm talking about a generic, but there are extraordinary people are there. So you try to find it out a right collaboration for the sales and marketing. End of the day, somebody should write check for you. Okay, so that means fill the air is important. Somebody should fill the air. Okay, so that person will come as part of your product development. Initial stages you have to do it. So that is the reason this mentoring program, learning program, pitch deck, everything is the HEI, Higher Education Institute, will help you to fill the gap in early stages. Once you reach to a certain milestone, obviously you can take a back seat. Your other team members will do that, or even your sales and marketing team, or your finance team, or your CEO will do that for you. Okay, but early stages as an entrepreneur, I need to know how to fill the air and create a brownie point. For that, higher education institutions should come up with a mechanism how to promote our tech-based startups, or at least the deep tech startups is the one thing. Okay, so this is the just the initial thoughts about the higher education roles and responsibilities, and startups expectations, and what is the minimum characteristics, qualities that deep tech startups should have. I try to summarize. Yes, higher education institutes, we are just a supporting system, and our role is to provide secure railing and also a lucrative or railing system for the steps. Okay, that is a very clear. And the second one is startups always expect money, okay, time and resources, but a higher education institute, and to promote the deep tech, we always concentrate on the resources. How to provide resources? The important aspect is technology, IP and innovation. So for that we need to provide a proper support. Yes, regarding the research facilities, obviously academic institute, the facilities, that is the reason they came to us as an incubator, okay, as part of our incubator. So that need to have a seamless operations between the labs and the incubator. So those exercises can be done. The policy documents will vary from institute to institute, but they can encourage it. But another important thing is, as a startup, as a product, when I try to release to market, make it complex. Don't give the simple product, make it complex. And you require the sales and marketing for the deep tech startup is very, very important. So that is need to be considered. Okay, now with these simple concepts, what we tried at IIT Hyderabad from the year 2012, okay, because we started working slowly on this model from 2012. So officially we formed our registered societies in 2015 September. So, but what is the philosophy or vision we had? Just I will try to share it, and some maybe these learnings came from our ecosystem. Now, this is the entrepreneurial ecosystem at IIT Hyderabad. A nutshell, one slide. We'll try to give it. Okay. So now, if you look at it, I think almost all major higher education institutes have the ESET. Okay, that is the student body. So we made it a clear effort that this is the student body and informal body. Okay, they don't have any direct mandate from the institute, but there is a faculty in charge. So his responsibility to make a smooth operational interaction between the student community and a host institute. So means our academic institute. So that is the reason we call it the ECEL IIT Hyderabad. It's a student body. So completely all the operations will done by them. Even that ECEL itself, they have given a mandate that they have to get their own revenues. They don't expect revenues from the institute. So I think our students are doing fantastic job on that ECEL, and they will parallelly conduct many pre-incubation activities there, hackathons involving the mentors. All these things will happen through our ECEL. Okay, only interaction between the ECEL and our institute is only one faculty member. His job is just to make the facilitator job to make the smooth. So in this process, many people get a lot of ideas from them because they don't have any strings attached as part of the ECEL. Then we have an academic program called as a minor in entrepreneurship program. So this is a 12 credit program. It is a spread over the 4 semesters. It starts on the 3rd year. Okay, starts on 3rd year. And 3-1, 3-2 for BTech, I'm talking about it. Maybe it may not be really applicable for the 3 years degree program, but you can think of that similar lines. But I'm explaining the ecosystem at IIT Hyderabad for BTech 4 years program. Okay, this is a 3-1, 3-2, and 4-1 and 4-2 means the 4 years spread is there. So you have to complete 12 credits over the 4 semesters, means 3 credits each. So I will give more details about this, how the program structure is done, everything. But here we made a cautious effort from the 2012 onwards. This is taught by the serial entrepreneurs and outside people, not by IIT Hyderabad faculty. Here IIT Hyderabad faculty, for example, previously I was a coordinator, just my job is to facilitate this program. Okay, reason is, as a faculty, I never burnt my hand or my fingers with a ecosystem. So that is the reason the people that is, and also this entrepreneurship is like a more live experience. It's a more fluidic in nature. So, and is more adaptable. So there is no unique model say that this is the formula to be used by every company. There is no model like that. So obviously it's more experience-based learning, not the textbook learning. So that is the reason we made a cautious effort to bring the serial entrepreneurs to teach this course. And successfully we are able to engage very reputed serial entrepreneurs as part of our program. Okay, and this is the academic program. Even master students and PhD students can register, but may not. They may register as a complete minor program, or they can register for individual courses also based on the need. Then we have an incubator. So to our formal education in entrepreneurship and as well as the independent student activities, both will be addressed in these 2 parts. And this is the pipeline for our next actual serious activities, what we are doing as part of our incubator. So the people who are inclined towards entrepreneurship, the people who are participating informally or individually in entrepreneurship is a pipeline for our incubator. Right. So we have 3 different incubators at this moment. The focus is right. The focus is different. So the first incubator called the ITIC incubator, IIT Hyderabad Technology Incubator, funded by the DST, we established in 2015. And we have another incubator called as this is a separate society promoted by IIT Hyderabad. And the next another one is called as the CFHE, Center for Healthcare, funded by the private people. And it is a separate Section 8 company and promoting the medical healthcare products. Okay, Center for Healthcare is promoting the healthcare products. And then next one is a FabC, Fabless Chip Incubator, and this is just to promote the Fabless Chip research or products or companies in that area. So we will try to provide all the facilities related to Fabless Chip, and even virtual incubation is allowed in this. Virtual incubation is allowed in this, and it is funded by the MIT. So if you see it, and all these are different funding agencies. Okay, this is a private funds and Section 8 company. This is a society funded by DST. This is funded by the MIT, and this is a program. So, and also part of the incubator. So these are 3 different, and admission process for this is also different. Here we are looking at mostly the 2/3 of the people from the IIT fraternity, and 1/3 of the people from external. And here CFHE is the fellowship program. After the fellowship program, they will be graduate. After they can graduate, or even the successful fellows will become startups. So the admission process and the program is different. In a Fabless Chip, even virtual incubation is allowed. Here we'll try to provide the major characterization facility tools and design tools, and chip will be fabricated outside with the foundries and come back and characterization can be done. So you look at it, the admission process and the focus areas are different. But iTech is a more broad deep tech technologies, and these two incubators are very focused incubators. So healthcare and as well as tablet chip incubators. So this is the all areas of the deep tech is covered, right? As part of our incubation, so at this moment, especially this year, we are in a position to support from pre-incubation till the accelerator. Okay, that is a important thing. So I will try to give more details about different schemes we have it. Nidhi Prayas, the call is there. Now I think especially the students and as well as the early stage startups and idea stage people can apply here. This is like a scheme supported by DST. So it gives us 10 lakh rupee fund support to develop your idea within 18 months. Okay, you will be part of our incubator, and if you are selected, so they will give you 10 lakh rupees to realize your idea as a minimum viable product and own your own IP. And there is another scheme called a Mighty Tide 2. There are two models we have. We are Group 3 center at this moment, and we are already the 4 companies are in a 2 are entrepreneurship in residence, and 2 more in a grant. Means we'll give a grant to the existing startup, and entrepreneur residencies, they will take idea to the market, and already early stage nascent stage startups will get a grant to make it a growth stage. So that is for Mighty Type 2. And accelerator, we have the focused area is the social entrepreneur. Here our joint partner is Action for India. So we have the social entrepreneurship accelerator. At this moment, the first cohort is going on, second cohort call is on. So maybe I think we are expecting the applications will be on by August first week. So that is the healthcare, education, agri-tech. This is the focused areas. Currently 16 companies are supported on this accelerator. Then we have another scheme is funded. It's a joint collaboration between the IIT, ITIC and NMDC. NMDC is the PSU, the company, National Mineral Development Corporation. So we have a joint program. So here also we are trying to provide a fellowship of 80,000 rupees for each idea per month. Okay, and 25 lakh rupees seed grant. So the call is like, I think next week you will get a call. So many opportunities we are giving to the outsiders for the in a different schemes. So Nidhi Prayas is the pre-incubation, and the NICE also part of the pre-incubation, and partly is a startup seed grant up to 25 lakhs, and accelerator is a growth stage, and the Mighty Tide to both early stage startups and pre-incubation. So this is the one. So well nurtured setup to promote startups, but then still we are not able to answer one big question. What is that big question is? Generally, the typical incubators period is 2 years. Based on extension, they will try to give it 2.5 years. But if you see the deep tech products, 2 years is very short span. You may come up with a minimum viable product, but when you launch to the market, you will get a feedback, and you need to get a multidisciplinary support, and you required proper testing facilities, all the things. So that is the reason many deep tech startups are struggling how to move from the incubator, okay, to a own company. So they are struggling at that point. So how to address that is the answer from coming from the Technology Research Park. This is the Technology Research Park is an academia and industry collaboration. The entry to this academia interest to promote this academia industry is the Technology Research Park. Right now we got our Technology Research Park is funded by the MHRD. So it is like similar to the IIT Madras Research Park model. So if you look at it, the early already established companies can put their R&D facility to interact with IIT, so they can join. And second one is advanced stage startups also can join as part of this program. So then what will happen? The revenue model here, we are looking at a rental model, and in a incubation we'll try to take their mostly like equity based models, and it vary from scheme to scheme, but mostly our incubation activities are equity based models, and the Technology Research Park is the rental model. So companies can put their R&D facilities in our premises, and the mandate requirement is it should be technology driven companies, and they should interact with the institute, okay, and they engage the institute in a multiple schemes, like they try to take the people as their interns or employment, providing employment to the students, and projects to the faculty, and also their employees can do the program, means like higher education activities with the institute. All these things can be done. So if you look at it, our model, that ECell is a student, the fresh entry to IIT is at age after BTech, sorry, after 10+2. So most of the kids may be 16 to 17 type of age, 17 you can take it. Okay, they started getting interaction there, their minor program, their incubation, technology research part. So our model is, if you look at it, he started at 17. If he's interested, he can start his own company. If he's successful, he can move to research park, and he stay his company with our research park, because there is no exit for the research park companies as long as they are meeting our minimum criteria. So even he can retire in our premises. So obviously you can start at 17, you can retire at 71. Why I'm saying 71 is, right now our retirement is 65. Over the period, maybe because of our human life is increasing, it may become 71. So this is the 117 to 71 model. Okay, we are able to accommodate everybody in the system to promote entrepreneurial ecosystem at IIT Hyderabad. This is our nutshell. So we have encourages and promotes innovation through this entrepreneurial ecosystem, and promoting the industry and academia activities through our ecosystem by facilitating. As I said previously, just we are the facilitator. We are preparing a very nice, lucrative, beautiful rail for our steps. Okay, so this is the thing. I think before going further discussions, just I will pause for a minute. I will try to take one or two questions, and then I'll come back and give you more details about the different schemes and how what is the opportunities the people has. Okay. So
I think I will pick few questions for you, Professor Venkatesan. It has been a very, very enriching and detailed talk from you. How higher educational institutions can create ecosystem of promoting innovation and entrepreneurship. I was just looking at the comments on Facebook Live and also at our video conference link, and many people, Professor Ranjan Bala Kohli is saying it is a very nice guidance for every educational institution for setting up ecosystem like IIT Hyderabad has done. So I think it's a beautiful model that you have presented, how informal e-cells are linked with minor programs, and then they are linked to incubation and the research part. I think that's a very proactive and very comprehensive roadmap for kind of building innovation and ecosystem. So one question, Professor, comes to our mind. Because of these comprehensive efforts, do you see some of your existing students venturing out before they graduate? And if so, can you share one or two examples?
Many students, what will happen is at early stage, generally they will not think about deep tech. Early stage, what happens is they will try to find an opportunity based on their exposure, right? Right. So at the time we will try to give a guidance. For example, somebody is not a deep tech, still we'll try to help them pursue their entrepreneur ecosystem wise, not through these schemes, through the other means. Like for example, these schemes we are implementing this year, but through other schemes we'll try to do it. I think this year we have started one program called Build Program. So that build program is like you try to prepare, based on your idea, you come up with your research proposal and build a product. And then we'll try to help them to reach the our mentors, VCs. So that is a completely parallel activity will be done, not through the things. But many of our students, for example, PhD, one of the company called SKIoT, okay, that IoT based company. So their PhD student, even as part of his PhD, he came up with IoT device and he started his company. And he was pursuing his PhD and he started his company. And okay, that is one of the examples. So that is a technology based SOT. They came up with a power monitoring device, wireless power monitoring device. So that is the one company. And other, because most of our companies, even the faculty is also part of the founding members. There is other students who pursued their passion toward the aerospace. They pursued as part of their different clubs. And after graduation, just they started a company called Crystal Ball with the help of others also. Now they are preparing the drones for the multiple applications. They are the drone manufacturers and for the various applications. So they are like right now, I know they are able to test it up to 15 kg payload. So for the agriculture application. So these are two
Wonderful.
examples I can give.
Wonderful. In fact, two thoughts that you really strike the chord. One, you talked about can research projects or can PhDs projects and good startups can be equivalent. You talked about the hypothesis of can one innovator can do a product, and also that product and startup can be equivalent to a PhD kind of research. I think these are radical thoughts our academic system need to look through. And if those are the things which are possible, then we can see more applied research or more applied startups coming into academia, and it can be vice versa. And I think, Professor, you rightly mentioned that IIT Hyderabad faculty members taking a role in the company also is a very encouraging step. And this is what will be very, very important aspect for everybody who is listening today, all the principals and deans and others, that we can have mechanism, we can have policies so that all these faculty members also can be a part of these enterprises. So, Professor Venkatesam, do you have a guideline in Hyderabad how faculty get engaged in startups or how it happens?
No, actually, what I try to say is there is a recently there is a policy is given, national level policy is given from MHRD regarding the how to engage the faculties, those things, because our ecosystem is there is small differences there with respect to our operationals, because we have our own individual policy one. But if you more applicable, more generic one is with the MHRD recent guidelines about the innovation and entrepreneurship. Okay, more and also it is well thought about it, how to engage the faculty, how to promote the faculty to take up the entrepreneurship as a challenge, and there is a separate guideline is given by the institute.
Wonderful, wonderful. And faculty members like you who are entrepreneurial in nature also plays a very, very vital role in terms of propagating this culture of faculty taking active part in entrepreneurship, and that's something is very interesting. So, Professor Venkatesam, you also have incubatees beyond IIT. Do you take startup companies beyond IIT students also?
Right, will take.
Wonderful, wonderful. And in this particular program, you mentioned about the incubation program. So, what is the duration of the incubation? One startup wants to know.
No, generally we will early stages we are a little bit liberal. Now we are saying that 2 years minimum. So within the 2 years, what we are doing is, because even most of the places, we are giving the rent-free space up to 150 SFT, okay, and means and also furniture up to 1 lakh rupee for sitting the things, okay, and proper meeting rooms, conference rooms. The infrastructure we will try to provide for free, but we'll take a nominal equity from the student, okay, and proper mentor support. Those things will be given as part of our ecosystem. But that 2 years is a typical duration. Based on the case by case, another 6 months will be extension is given, 2.5 years.
Wonderful. And these startups can also access to the laboratory and other facility at IIT?
Yes, and also we'll facilitate it, and we'll try to, and case by case we'll discuss. And many times what happens is even the faculty is also, this is another model, because it's a very vague thought at this moment. Even we have not attempted, but some private, because I know it, there are so many autonomous institutes are there. Okay, this is just I'm taking a 1 minute. A deep thought is required, but this I'm posing as a thought process to the leadership, not my leadership, to everybody, including me. Right now, if you want to engage any startup, okay, with our research activities, for example, I'm a startup. I'm not part of your incubator, but I'm outside startup. Okay, if you want to engage that startup with an academic institute, generally we will charge consultancy fee or sponsored research fee, right? But many times this startup may not have money to spend, but their problem is live problem and very advanced problem. Okay, so faculty is very keen to pursue that problem, but he may not have resources or money to spend from the startup point of view. Is there any way I can accommodate? Okay, I can accommodate his request, okay, to support research, okay, and charge equity. Okay. Means indirectly what will happen is, for example, to execute that project, I required 5 lakh rupees. But overall, if you go to a normal traditional billing process, it will be like a 10 lakh rupees, because institute overheads will be there, taxes are there, manpower charges are there, and as well as everything will be there. Okay, AMC, everything we have to pay. So the actual cost of the project is 10 lakh rupees. But now, if you are given a freedom to the faculty, and the institute is ready to take some stake from their overheads, shall I spend 50% of these other expenses as a equity in that company, right? And then remaining base cost, whatever the regular cost, will be taken as part of my expenses from the startup. So if the product is become successful or company becomes successful, then my equity will become my investment. Means like I will get more benefit. And reverse also possible. Whatever I supposed to get a 5 lakh rupees today, because the company is not doing well, it will become paper money. It is useless. So that model, like I don't know at this moment, but a private universities can take the a leadership in this one, come up with a equity model to promote the startups interacting with an academic institute. Okay, may not be high-end research, at least the testing. For example, the testing cost and mission cost will be there. So you charge the testing cost, bare minimum consumable cost, you charge it, and remaining you take it as equity. The capital investment, you take it as equity. So these models can be explored to make it startup engaged with academic institutes. Okay, but in this process, our incubate, as our own startups, we are always helping them to negotiate or facilitate with our academic labs, and engage them in a smooth manner. And funds should not become is not be a bottleneck for execution, interacting between the startup and labs or research experts.
Wonderful. Very, very beautifully elaborated, Professor. I mean, I can see the comments of the heads of institution on the live video of your talk, and all are excited to understand and get this beautiful information that we are sharing, that how you have designed frameworks for creating a sustainable process on incubation. I think that is also a very essential ingredient of promoting deep tech startups in higher learning institutions, because without a broad framework, sometimes we start well, but they will not sustain. And I think you have also started well and also sustained it. So it's a very interesting thing to learn from you. Professor, one question I can take from the participant is, if it's a girl who is asking, say that, what do you see the women participation in the startup arena? What fraction of your startups are led by girls or women in general? Do you see a gender parity, or it is a male-dominated game?
It's not true. It's like the same question. I will it will be answered in a more sensitive way. Actually, especially if the deep techs, we are seeing a good participation from the women entrepreneurs. It's not a women-led entrepreneurs, but women ones, because I'm able to see around 25% of our entrepreneurs are women entrepreneurs.
Oh, wonderful. 25% is a very good number.
And also another interesting thing, I think this may be, you need to endorse it. And it's a good sign from the country point of view. Many operationals of these incubators across the country, operations I'm talking about, not leaders, like operationals, is like a done by the women employment point of view. Like women are leading this entrepreneur ecosystem.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I think that's a very encouraging sign. So I think it's respect. So one question I can see is innovation and entrepreneurship before COVID and innovation and entrepreneurship after COVID. What is the changes that you are seeing in the days to come?
I'm telling you honestly, COVID is just a showstopper at this moment, but it's not a long-term showstopper. Okay, I'm strong believer that we'll come back very quickly. I don't know in this live platform I can tell, but my strong belief is, when you are going on a road, so you are one of the tire got punctured, right? But you will not stop your journey, right? You will replace the tire, right? That's it. So this is the junction at this moment. So, but it's given a new opportunities altogether. It's given a new opportunity altogether. For example, the two areas I'm strongly believing is the most affected is faculty like me. Now we are like most of our teaching era is like we are one-to-one teaching now. right? Where face-to-face learning is the most dominated in our education system. Now it's giving a new opportunity for everybody, okay, how to move from the one-to-one learning to the virtual learning. So there you require a lot of technology-driven solutions. Okay, so that is the one thing. Second one is yesterday I was reading somewhere, they said the textile industry, the people who are supposed to prepare the clothes and everything, right, in a small scale industry, everything, now their focus is changed from the preparing the clothes. They move to the PPE equipment, means like a clothes or mask, everything. So just our focus is changed, but really this is not a showstopper for our great progress. So only the product portfolio may be changed, but as a technology people, we not really worry about it. It gives a new opportunities. Every challenge comes with a new opportunities. I feel this is just a small break at this moment, a small disturbance in our long journey. So I think we'll come back very quickly. There is no problem at all. It's just many people who are talking about money will not be there and all the things. I told earlier, this problem is for the business-based startups, not for the technology-based deep tech startups. Deep tech startups are very niche area and unique portfolio. So you never be disturbed by this small disturbance because your path is slow moving path compared to the escalator path.
Wonderful. I think, and also, right, as you mentioned, sometime we also see emergence of new domain and new areas altogether because of these crises. For example, the healthcare sector and others see a quite big change. A lot of innovations, a lot of enterprises are coming in new areas, particularly in PP and other areas. So I think every calamity, every challenge, every crisis also drives to new domain and new arc of innovation altogether. So, Professor, towards the end of this session, I would like to also ask, you have recently plunged into supporting social enterprises. You have set up an accelerator in social enterprises. You are helping technology-enabled social enterprises through iTech Foundation and IIT Hyderabad. Would you like to share some ideas and thoughts around that?
And if any other questions, I will take it. I'll quickly go through what are the different opportunities and what is the details about the scheme. I will try to tell for larger interest of the people, and especially for the startups and as well as the students who are looking for an opportunity. This year is our year is a giving opportunity to outsiders. Okay, we are established. I think as we are, at least we come up with a model. Now this is the year is execute with excellence. Our theme for this year is execute and with excellence. Okay, so I have given the mandate to the team saying that this year we need to execute with excellence. So I hope this will give a lot of opportunity to the people also. So just to quickly, I will go through the slides one by one, and I will try to answer your question also. Then, so first one is a minor in entrepreneurship course. If somebody wants to introduce a program, if you look at it, it's 12 credits, right? And if you look at it, this business plan development, we have made it such a way that first 3 credits, 3-1 is like a introductory courses. 3-2 is a business plan. Okay, somebody has an idea, you start working on a 3-2 as part of business plan course because it's more like a course and then you are coming up with the idea. So our intention of keeping the business plan in 3-2 is you start working on that project. In a summer, generally in IIT system, the people will go for summer internship at the end of 3rd year, 3-2, 2 months they will go for internship. But if really you are passionate about your idea, so you can continue in your in a summer also. Then 4-1, you can pursue your idea. So you had a chance to work 1 year on your idea parallelly to your academic program. So you came up with your business plan, you made all groundwork. In IITs, at the end of 4-1, we have a placements. That is the month of December. So during the time, you can opt. Either you can sit for placements or you can defer your placement. Right? So then obviously what will happen, you can part of our incubator after within 2 years, anytime you can exit and close the formally and start your campus. So that is the way we laid out our plan such a way that the student should have a 1 year time before you take the decision. So like go for entrepreneurship, deferred placement option or not. Giving option is one important, the program is in line with that. So that is the way I was talking about the minor entrepreneurship funds. How we structured. So I already told this is like a VCs, enterprise builders, industry managers, experts from industry will teach, not IIT faculty. Okay. Then I said already told about these three different incubators. Okay, the entry and funding agency and operations are different, right? So currently we are 35 companies are well diversified. So one of the flagship company I can tell is that is actually my own colleague in mechanical department. His name is Dr. Nishant Dongri. So even last month, 2 months back, even before COVID, he launched his own scooter. He started with a solar panel design. Okay, then he identified an opportunity of the batteries. Then he started battery manufacturing plant, and then he saw that there is a great potential on EV. So now there is a company called Pure EV. He started with Pure Energy, tried to provide a mechanical aesthetic design for the solar panels, and he got his revenue. Then he moved from the to the battery supplier, battery manufacturer, and the battery designer, and then from the battery designer to he came up with the EV vehicle. Now he, as a CTO, now he is not CEO. Okay, in early stages he is the CEO. Then he identified what is the extra efforts required to make the company, and I think I can say as one of the success stories, he got is a close to 15 crores VC fund to expand his business. So if you look at it pure EV, you will get the recent launch of the scooter. And then other one, our first company is the Philanthro Technologies. This is the one is a graduated. Right now they're employing 40 people. They're my first startup. They moved from because they started with our academic aim modules, and they are working on ERP solutions. And slowly they migrated from the data analytics. So now they have the data analytics company and serving to many companies, and they are employing 40 people, and they are part of our research park. Okay, and one of the founding member of the company is our computer science faculty. Okay, just why I'm telling all these things is faculties has a great opportunities now. Okay, now so no more generally we had the impression that faculty is only teaching. No, we are doing research, we are doing teaching. We are talking about commercialization of our research. Okay, so that is one thing. The SKOT is a student company, and OSUR is the physics department faculty. Generally, many people thought that entrepreneur means the engineering background or management background. No, even science background faculty is also taking that entrepreneurship as one of the. So this is the physics department. Dr. Vandana Sharma, she built lab level system into the product. Now she's working on medical devices there. Okay. That right now is a 35 companies we have. And as I said, the Nidhi Accelerator, that is the one exactly Hiranmai was talking about. This is a joint program between AFI and IT. This is funded by DST, and our focus is social entrepreneurs and 3 areas: education, healthcare, and agriculture. So we are planning to have 2 cohorts in the first year. Already first cohort is done, and we are expecting the end of this month, so next month, we want to do the demo day. Here we'll try to provide one-to-one mentor support. The business support means the business related, functional related mentoring will done by the AFI, and technology support will given by the technology mentoring done by the IIT Hyderabad. Remember that end of the day, and as an academic institute, we don't have any specialized MBA programs or things. So obviously our strength is technology, so we need to provide technology as a background, and we need to tie up with the people who can give the functional knowledge and from the business. Okay, so this started in February. Right now 16 companies. You can see the portfolio. We received 120 applications. We are shortlisted 17 companies, and average is 6 companies and 8 companies in agri-tech. So you look at it, the spectrum of the companies also. We have the pre-revenue stage at 4 companies, and early traction is many companies are early traction stage. Now the growth is another 4 companies. Our aim is you make up 10 times. Whatever the parameter they try to take it, either revenue or sales or technology, whatever it is, at the end of this cohort, they need to do 10 times. The scale up is 10 times. So that is the way our team is working to help all these startups in promoting this social entrepreneurship related to the health tech, agri-tech, and edu-tech, and based on the technology driven through our accelerator. Okay, and then we have a Nidhi Prayas Center, and we are expecting the call. We'll give a call in another 15 days. This is we will try to help the pre-incubation idea stage to the minimum viable product. We'll give the funding support for over 18 months, and we'll give the makers lab like required equipment to build your prototype, but it's more prototype based, hardware based ideas for the pre-incubation. Okay, we'll try to provide the training and IP, business plan development, everything as part of the center. Okay, then we have the Mighty Type 2. I already given that. So this is also we are trying to, right now we have 2 companies, an MIT Type 2 and 2 grantees. And here we are trying to give 7 lakh rupees as a seed fund to our startup and miss a grantee, and 4 lakh rupees as for EIRs. Okay. One beauty of this is 80% of our companies, okay, forget about accelerator, because accelerator is a different ball game altogether, but remaining our technical incubators, 80% of our companies have a seed fund. Okay. And 60% of companies have their own IP. Okay. IP may be the patents, publications, and there are companies, we have close to 40 patents are there. There we have a company called YSIG that has 40 patents in 5G area. Okay. So our main focus is intellectual rights as part of our startup outcome. That is one of the key performance indicator we are trying to do that. And this is the companies I was talking about, these 2 are our alum, actually. They worked in the companies. After 2 years, they exit. They started their own company. Means their own idea was there, and they pitched to our Mighty Type 2, and they got shortlisted. And now they started as part of, they got a 4 lakh rupees as a seed fund. And now they started working on this as part of Mighty Type 2, our own students. And Prashant Kumar is our own faculty. And with the other employees, he started working on the medical devices for ultrasonic as part of this team. So what I'm saying is, it's like we are helping, and this company is from completely external. This is a woman entrepreneur. She is the NIT graduate. They are trying to do the single platform for food-based supplies. So they are working on that platform. This is like even a single founder is from IIT. Okay, but we are helping all type of people. Then this is another scheme, that is the NMDC NICE program. So this is like we are planning to support this program for next 5 years. And this year we are trying to support the 5 startups with a up to 25 lakh rupees seed fund, and fellowship each month 80,000 rupees. 5 fellowships are there. So together we'll try to support them. After your 1 year fellowship, maximum 1 year fellowship, and then you need to do your startup. At that time, your idea is going in the right direction. We'll try to give a 25 lakh seed fund also. Okay. So this is the scheme is there. And I already told the FabC, our job is a one-stop solution for the chip design startups. And we'll try to provide prototyping facilities, characterization facilities as part of this. Even CFHE is our aim is for healthcare products, specially trained curriculum, and properly immersed with the hospitals. And good thing is, most of the companies, minimum they have funding, revenue, grants. So this is also very successful incubator from us. And during the COVID time, one of the ventilator came from our startup. Even they are doing the production also, right, as part of this CFHE, right? So, okay, generally they will go to they will go to hospital, identify the problem as part of the fellowship, and come up with the minimum viable product and extend it. So right now there are 7 startups in this age. So 5th fellowship one. Last year we got 200 applications. See the competition we have it there. Okay, and as I said, this is the research park. This is like as part of our industry academia interactions. And one of the pipeline is advanced stage startups. Not only the existing industries, one of the pipeline is startups. And we are building another 1,50,000 SFT research park. So we are building 3 lakh SFT. And currently 6 companies are operational in our premises. And we are like go in a ramp, because the building is not yet ready, but we want to go in big way to attract the number of companies in this portfolio. So this is a different facilities. Everybody is common. So it's not, I don't want to boost up this. Okay. And we will, okay, there is a one important differentiation. Whatever the facilities or softwares you try to buy as part of an academic program, you can't use it for commercial. So as an incubator, you need to have your own facilities. That is very important. Okay. At least because when you are going for commercialization, especially the tools, you require your commercial tools, commercial licenses. Okay, so this is the one is a major differentiator, because when you are going for a compliance point of view, deep tech startups, please make it don't use academic resources for commercial uses. Okay, there is a violation of the our agreement with respect to the academia versus research software. So please be sensitive in this process. So that is the reason we are coming up with our own commercial tools to support our startups. And we have our own 3D printer. This is a color multi-jet printer. And we are supporting our startups. And here, our model is the salary of this, everything should come generate. The printer should generate their own money. Okay, so that is the way we'll try to work our models. And access to research park for startups is the one thing we are trying to talk about it. This is our new building coming up. There are, we call it twin buildings or sister buildings. This is one is for the TIP and it's designed by our Japanese architects. So this is called as a TIP, and other one is a research park. So it looks same, but the philosophy, what you look at it here. This is like a, if you have multiple towers with a different levels. So what is our interest is, okay, this shows that small companies, big companies, early stage companies, advanced stage companies, everybody can interact like a finger model, right, with the different requirements. So that is the philosophy we have selected when you are trying to build this research park and as well as the incubator, technology incubator. So total we are building 3 lakh square feet facility for promoting entrepreneur ecosystem at IIT Hyderabad. So different ones. And there are like focus areas, whatever IIT focus, our focus means all advanced technologies and deep tech startups is our focus areas. And this year theme is execute and excellence is our theme. Okay. So yes, we are able to at least put a proper framework, and our credibility will come only by executing these programs. So that is the one. And I'm really thankful to my team. And many people will think how many people are working in the system. Myself and one more staff and one attendant. Okay, total only 3 people are working in this complete ecosystem. We are close to 125 crores worth of funding is happening in this ecosystem. So with this, I would like to say thank you very much.